this first game, they come out in the first half, the Magic do,
Yeah, and just
and
start
put a
walking.
fucking ass beating on them.
Yeah.
Like,
What? It's 12 points, but
we just talked about 12 points being six possessions.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, this Houston team obviously is a little different because they shoot more threes, so it's really like 4 to 6 possessions, but it's still enough to where it matters, and especially in the slow paced environment. It's not like they were like running and gunning. But I found it very interesting what Hakeem's plan was to stop Shaq. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I mean,
Where he said that he wanted to run Shaq to death because he said that he would assume Shaq wouldn't have the endurance. And then by the half, he was like heavy breathing, and he was like, "This isn't even tired." I thought that was hilarious because it is a young Shaq. Remember, he's 22.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought that. I don't know why,
but it's because he probably looked at Shaq like a fat boy. He's like, "There's no way this fat boy is going to be able to."
But you know what's ironic about that? If he sees him in the Lakers, he would be right.
Yeah, no.
If he sees him on the Lakers, I think he's got a better chance to make this strategy work than this Magic Shaq, who's young and just has crackhead energy. Like, it's interesting. Like, he caught Shaq at the worst possible time for that specific strategy. But they're going to come out in the first half and play really, really well. And then in the second half, they come out, the Magic come out completely lethargic. And Kenny Smith, who has his day in the sun on Shaq, which is just hilarious.
7 of 11. That's crazy.
It's so funny. I've heard Shaq say in the past, the worst part about this championship isn't the fact that he lost it, but that Kenny walks around thinking he's a legend. Thinking he's a legend and all that, hitting those threes. This 7 threes made. This was the most threes made in an NBA Finals game for a long time. He had this record for a while.
Yeah, because I think Ray Allen was the one that broke it, right?
Something like that. I don't know who holds it now, but I know that he had the most threes in a game. Because obviously Jordan had the threes and a half.
Clay might hold that now, but Ray Allen, I remember Ray Allen beat that in the Lakers 2010 matchup.
Yeah.
I want to say game 2.
But Kenny will hit a big 3, or Kenny's going to hit a big 3.
Yep. Before freaking Nick Anderson goes in.
I wanted to watch this with the people.
Oh, okay.
So we're at the end of game 1. Orlando has a 3-point lead with a minute to go. So they get the ball, and they're just killing clock. Like, the name of the game is this game is over.
Yeah, especially at this point in the NBA, it's kind of like
look how many shots they missed to get the rebound again. Like, this game is definitely over.
If you score 5 or 4 with 10 seconds left, the game it's done.
Yeah,
like you're not expected to win. Like, now it's still like it could go either way kind of thing. Like, you still, depending on how good the other team is, they could make a bunch of threes. But here it's pretty much not really expected.
So Anderson's to the line, right? Nick Anderson, who just missed the first free throw there, we saw. I wanted to see Nick Anderson's free throw percentage before this game. I think he's like an 80% shooter.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely isn't bad enough to miss 4 straight free throws. He definitely just choked.
But I want to see if just want to know though, because I've never actually like deep dove into Nick Anderson's stats. Nick Anderson was the first ever draft pick by the Orlando Magic. Also, like, he has deep seeds in Orlando.
67. I mean, it's
so he's a career. at that up to that point, 70% free throw shooter. So he's not the best free throw shooter in the world, but I mean, you can expect him to get one a game or like make one.
You'd expect him to make 1 out of 4. That's all he needed.
Yeah, but I think I would have been nervous as a fan. Like having him on the line, I think I would have been nervous. I mean, I'd rather have him than Shaq, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, depending on, like, there's fans that watch. I mean, if you watch every single game of the Magic and you know that he's, like, not clutch. It's like the Pau Gasol thing. Remember, seeing, I was like, Pau Gasol's going to split the days because I just know he would. Like, I'm sure, like, fans probably thought of him like that too or whatever. But, like, it's one thing to miss both free throws, sure. But then to get the rebound and miss another 2 is
so
like...
So he managed to get his own rebound 100%. Off the miss. And now Shaq and everybody's picking him up like, dude, you got this. I can't believe you missed those, but it's okay. You're not missing 2 more. Like, you got this. Mind you, they're up 3. He's just got to make that one shot.
Yeah.
Like,
it's funny though, like how, like in that documentary, like they were talking about he's not a player to miss free throws and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, like this is how you know that we're not looking at stats or anything at this point. Because like on the screen it was showing he's a 67% free throw shooter. It's not like he was the greatest.
Let's go back to that.
It was not like he was the greatest thing in the world. Like that's why it's just weird that like his teammates would say that. Like I really feel like they were trying, especially Penny. I feel like Penny was trying to like shift all the blame to just that one moment, as if that was the reason they lost the entire finals. And I'm like, bro, this is game 1, and you literally have a whole 6 games more if you wanted to, like, to play. Like,
so I think what Penny's trying to say, and we're talking about this Magic moment. It's a documentary about the Orlando Magic. It's not the Bible of what happened during this time, but all the guys from this team get to say their piece on what happened to the team.
Yep.
And this is a major moment in the documentary and it's a major moment in the history of this particular group of individuals.
Yeah.
It shows a lack. Well, number one, it's a lack of just general experience. Like this whole game is a microcosm of one team with no experience and one team with a ton of experience.
Yeah.
The Rockets, the Rockets went into the locker room at halftime going, "We just got to make a couple shots going, and they'll fold." Like this is something that Kenny Smith has talked about on. He was talking to Shaq on an open court, to Shaq and Dennis Scott about this game, and how one locker room was like, "Yeah, we're feeling good," as in the Magic. They were feeling good in the locker room. They were doing really well. And the Rockets, they didn't come out nervous. They were just like, it's okay. We just got to make 1 or 2 baskets. And there's no way they can hold this together forever because they just don't have the experience. That was the mindset between the two teams.
It goes back to we're up by 22 at half in game 1. Ooh, so we walk in the locker room like, yeah, Shaq, you busting his butt. I got 5 threes. Penny's killing everybody in the post. And it went from 22 to 14 to 10 to 8 to 6 to 4. We go, uh-oh. Now let's go to this locker room. Right, exactly. Right. Listen, you know that they're not going to stay focused. So just if you get it to 12, then this whole game changes. Yeah. But all you have to do is get it to 12. We ain't talking about getting it to 5. Get it to 12. It's because there's an immaturity that was just not, and it's not immaturity. It's like inexperience. That's my moment. Inexperience. The moment. They're enjoying their moment, and you're like,
the one thing you're talking about right now is they were capable of beating themselves. Like the Jazz were not going to beat them.
No, they were.
Those teams, they're not going to beat themselves, and you guys were capable of beating yourselves by.
And this face right here, and this Nick Anderson, like, it's just
that's on the coach too. Like,
there's just so much. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, to be honest, after he missed his third, I would have called the timeout as the coach, and I would have just talked to him, be like, look, like, like, try to, like, get him out of that mindset, because clearly you can see him as he's shooting these shots, he's laughing, he's like just can't believe what's happening, and like his teammates are just like turned around, like doesn't even want to see it go in. I'm like, as the coach, you should look at that situation and be like, this is not good for what we need right now. Timeout. Let's figure this out. Maybe they didn't have timeouts at the time. Like maybe they didn't have any more timeouts. But there's no way in hell that me as a coach, and this is not like hindsight, this is just me like actually watching what was happening. Like, I would have definitely been like, no, we can't let this dude shoot another free throw like the way he's shooting right now. Like, we have to at least talk to him or something.
To your point, Penny Hardaway cannot watch Nick Anderson shoot this last free throw.
Yeah,
crazy.
It was like he knew he was going to lose.
That's the other thing. But this goes to what you were talking about, is why they had 6 other games, whatever. This moment took the air out of the sails of the entire team in a way that I kind of don't understand. Like, it's really like astounding.
The only comparison that I can think of is the 2018 playoffs, the finals. LeBron James, with J.R. Smith, that moment.
Yeah.
Very similar, where it's just like, because like they go into overtime and they pretty much just they lose in overtime. The volume's on. They go into overtime, lose, and pretty much like that screwed everything up. And clearly, like, Penny's one of the leaders, and he's doing pretty much the same thing LeBron did to JR. I mean,
but he's a 23-year-old leader. Like, these guys are all so young.
No, yeah, I know, but I'm saying that's
Kenny
like
Smith
that's
bangs
the
home a
comparison.
3.
Yeah,
and
it was off of apparently a Nick Anderson mess up again, because supposedly at the time the refs allowed them to call a delay of game.
Yeah.
When they don't have the ball, I don't understand how that works.
We were in the huddle, and Coach Hill told Nick, after the timeout, go out and tell the ref you're going to take a delay of game. Back then, everybody did that just to see what play the other team was going to run. So I relaxed. Nick didn't step out of bounds. And they slapped the ball. Kenny takes off. I hesitated like a half a second.
Kenny Smith pops out and gets that little bit of window he needed.
Ellie throws it for Smith, looking for the 3. He's been on fire and hits. He's tied the game at 110 with 1 6/10 seconds remaining.
All the air goes out of the building. All the momentum that we've had pretty much the whole game shifts from our side of the floor over to them.
If Nick takes that delay of game, I know what's going to happen. I would have actually been on him, and me being 6'7", he wouldn't have gotten that shot off. But the free throws bothered him so much that he forgot to take the delay of game.
But apparently they allowed for a delay of game, so then you can see what the team is about to run.
Yeah.
And Nick Anderson was supposed to tell the ref they're going to take a delay of game.
Yeah.
And he was so stressed out about missing the free throws that
he didn't do it.
He didn't call.
And he was out of place.
Which is another like lack of experience kind of thing. Like if you're a more experienced player at that point, you're gonna kind of move on to the next play. You know that's it. Like, this is done. Like, we got to go on to the next play. We still can win this game. And it's not like bro, you missed 4 free throws, sure, but you're still up by 3.
But this is more to your point. So now we're in overtime, tie game at 118.
Yeah. And
Dennis Scott hits a big shot, and now they're tied at 118. And I've never watched this from start to finish, so I want to see. And they just let Akeem off on the glass there for the putback to finish it. This is demoralizing to watch. Like, just like watching it in step by step. Like, as like if you're a Magic fan, you're like, I could understand how you go into the locker room and you're like, fuck, maybe we're just trash. Maybe we're not ready for this at all.
I don't know. To me, I would look at it as they just stole a game. Like, that's pretty much what happened, in my opinion. Like, they really stole that game.
Yeah.